Ozzy, no, no.
Right up. Hey, everybody, can you hear me? Yep. Okay, cool. So Traci will be on in just a few minutes. So just hold tight and we'll get started soon.
Hello.
Hi. Hmm. Darn it.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Tracy. How do you feel now?
I thought I was feeling better, but I guess I spoke too soon. Yeah,
I hope you feel better soon.
I hope so. I took a couple Advil, but it doesn't seem to have helped. So we'll see how the day progresses. But yeah, it's just the being lethargic from that. For those who don't know, I got the COVID vaccine yesterday.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so I'm feeling the effects of it today.
First one or second one?
First one.
Okay.
Now I'm completely, I don't want to say I'm dreading because that's too strong. I want the second vaccine, let's be clear, but I know that if I'm having this reaction now, you know,
Yeah.
I'm concerned about, I'm expecting total flu-like symptom stuff, you know.
They say that means that it's working.
Right. And guess what? I'd much rather have that than COVID. So not complaining at all. But definitely not 100% today. Yeah. Yeah. So you all are gonna have to help me with this. I participate.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you. I can raise my arm up to here.
Ah.
That's it. Oh. Anyway. Let's see who's running the slides today.
Could I just make a comment?
Absolutely.
So my name is not Joe Adams. Somehow my boyfriend's account, I don't know, we'll have to figure that out. So my name's Roseanne and I'm brand new as of yesterday.
Oh my
So I'm kind of,
Congratulations.
oh, thank you. So I'm sort of,
Welcome.
thanks. I appreciate it. I'm very excited.
You joined
So-
the best office.
It's an awesome office. We're glad to have you.
Thank you. So Roseanne is my name
Okay, Roseanne, we'll keep that in mind.
and I'll figure out how to fix that.
I may slip and call you Joe, but
That's okay.
if
He's
you
a good
click,
guy.
yeah, if you click on your name, click on that little name bar, click on Joe's name, a box will pop up, and in that box it should say rename.
Yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna work on that later.
All right,
Yeah.
We've got we don't start until 11:45, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got a few more minutes. So I'm just going to be here. If you guys have a question or want to talk about anything, I'll be here. But I'm going through my emails right now.
So Roseanne Joe Adams, tell us about you. Who are you? Real estate.
Thank you. So I retired from public school service after 31 years last June,
Oh.
and went a little bit early because I'd been wanting to and really been looking forward to getting into real estate like the last 5 years, but I kind of needed to work those, years to get a decent retirement. And yeah, just everything kind of happened during COVID like it did for all of us. And I just took the test last Friday, finally got in on like a opening. There was like a cancellation. And so I took it and here I am today with you all.
Congratulations. You
Thanks.
couldn't have landed in a better place.
I feel that already. The office is just really a cool spot.
Yeah, I retired from AT&T after 31 years.
Oh, wow.
And I retired from corporate marketing and advertising at various companies after 30 years.
Oh my gosh.
Joined last year.
Nice.
I
And
have
the
no,
person sitting next to me probably isn't even 30 years old. Oh, you're just 30, right?
No, I'm 30. Yeah, I'm gonna turn 31 next month.
Funny. So Tracy, am I to understand that I'm kind of joining in the middle of the trainings?
Yeah, I think you probably are smack dab in the middle, or maybe
Okay.
the last
The end,
quarter of the classes.
Do we
But
have
you can-
more, do we have more classes, or is this it?
there's
No,
2
there's more classes.
weeks.
Oh, okay.
There, as far as I could see, now, I don't know, maybe we're off schedule. I don't have I do have the complete Ignite schedule. There are more classes after today.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
there's
you
3
still have the spark part or whatever comes after the elementals.
Yeah, this is not the last class.
Great.
If you look at the calendar, I think it says there's 2 more weeks of classes, right?
So then what would happen is they start over again and then I would just begin on the next like cohort or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
They're also recorded on our YouTube page if you want to go back and try to catch up.
Yeah, there's actually, I'm looking at the schedule now. So there's a Ignite marketing class tomorrow. Then on the 15th, there's an Ignite open house class. There's a seller appointments class on the 16th. There's
I think, I'm sorry, Tracy, I think Joey announced that because of family reunion next week, it's gonna pause.
oh, it's gonna pause and then start back
And
up.
then start up the week after.
That makes sense. But there are definitely more Ignite classes. So this isn't the last class.
This is the last one?
How are you, Patty?
I'm good. Thanks for asking. Yeah, things are good.
Good.
My feet hit the floor.
Yeah.
Always like, it's a good day.
That's always the first step, right?
Yeah.
I wake up and I say, my eyes are opened. I'm grateful for that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I tried to do, I have the question for you, because I'm not the techiest person, but I wanted to do a landing page so I could, say, hey, on all social media, about my real estate and stuff like that. I had trouble figuring it out, changing, adding text and everything. So I'll have to look at something, see how you go through that. And took a little bit of work for me.
I think command.kw.com has a command FAQ page
Okay.
to it. And on that page, there are actually like tutorials that take you through how to set up different things. So I think it's kw.command.com. I think that's what it is. So I'm not techie either. I wouldn't even attempt to try and walk you through that.
Yeah.
But you should be able to get some help on that page.
Yeah, if I get a tutorial, I think I can do it. But it's kind of cool that you can go in there and do your own landing page and all that kind of stuff. So
It is.
Also, if you get stuck, support at Scalmaroy Marketing.
okay.
They're
Yeah,
terrific. They
good
will-
idea.
Hi, Tracy. Hey, my name's Cameron from Larchmont. I'm going to be helping you out with the slides today, okay?
Oh, thanks. And it's Cameron?
All right. Cameron.
Cameron. Okay, thanks, Cameron.
You're
Thanks for
welcome.
letting me know. I think that we should go ahead and get started. I think I have feedback from you, Cameron.
For feedback?
Yeah, so you might want to mute.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. And then we will go through it. All right. Well, welcome everybody to prospecting. And it just to let you know, I'm Traci Bates. If you don't know me, I've been a real estate agent since 2007. I'm one member of the Bates Hennington Real Estate Group. My business partner is Lorna Hennington, and we have a lot of fun doing this in this career. So we'll talk about prospecting today. Today is one of those classes where, fortunately, being on the Agent Leadership Council, we get asked to teach classes and then to pick which classes we want to teach. And prospecting was one of the classes that I selected to teach, because you always like to be reminded of things. No matter how long you've been doing something, you can always learn something new or be reminded of something. So this is a class that I wanted to teach today. And in the class, we're going to be able to talk about and describe prospecting and how it contributes to your lead generation efforts. We'll explain and talk about the different prospecting methods, and you'll learn how to develop your own prospecting plan. And we can go to the next slide. So these are the skills that we're going to focus on today, and it's one skill, which is lead generation for buyers and sellers. The prospecting path is your map to lead generation success. So you've already, or you should have already covered the basics in the Spark session, understand the lead generation model. And if you haven't, we can talk about that a little bit. But if someone wants to jump in and talk about prospecting and summarize what you think prospecting is, that'd be great.
Mining for clients.
Oh, I like that, mining, because mining makes me think of gold.
Mining that gold, and then I think there are various ways to do it, which
Yes.
we all know. Pick up that phone and call people. I guess you could do it online, social media or emailing people, but calling is always, I think, number one. And then I think the marketing as well, any sort of marketing stunts or letting people in your farms know who you are, like whether you're doing a food drive or like Clint is always collecting clothes for the homeless, making yourself visible.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Maury. Prospecting is the lead generation effort that's proactive and direct. So the agent is proactively going out to find leads to bring into their database versus marketing, which is maybe putting out a postcard or something and waiting for leads to come to you. So we're talking about going out and generating leads. And we'll go to the next slide. So today we're going to talk about connecting prospecting to lead generation. We're going to do dive deep on prospecting methods, take action and develop your own prospecting plan. Then we'll recap and create your success list. And after this section, you should be able to describe prospecting and how it contributes to your lead generation efforts. All right. So I don't know if you remember this little model from before. And Roseanne, you never saw it. So this is your first time seeing it, but you should have the PDF of all this. And if you don't, you should be able to get it so that you can go back through this again. But this is the flow of the lead generation model. And what we want to emphasize here is that prospecting and marketing are your lead generation efforts that bring leads and contacts into your database. So lead generation, whether it's prospecting or marketing, should never be a practice that you stop. Without leads and contacts, you won't have the possibility for any closed transactions. And without a closed transaction, you can't get paid, which as much as we love doing this, we like to get paid too. So we'll go to the next slide. Yeah, here we go. So lead generation should always be purposeful and intentional. Lead generation is the life of an agent's business. Lead generation is taking a message and using a method to drive that message to a desired audience. And we call this the message and method of your lead generation, or the 2 M's. Message needs to match your market, and it needs to make an offer for immediate response. It should match the market by tailoring the intended message to the sentiments and the market conditions of a target group in the area in which you operate. And the message should have a call to action that can be direct, like call me now, or it could be indirect, like look at my website to learn more. So that's message. And when we talk about method, there are two primary methods of getting your message out to your target group. One is prospecting and the other is marketing. So this section will only cover prospecting, and it's going to highlight that there'll be an Ignite Elementals section on marketing that you can and should attend. So we can go to the next slide where we talk about the lead generation methods that should be prospecting based and marketing enhanced. And I'll say it again. Lead generation method should be prospecting based and marketing enhanced. Marketing is indirect, so it should attract leads and it should support or enhance your prospecting conversations. For example, when you send a direct mail advertisement or leading while you're door knocking, then leveraging the material to have a follow-up conversation. Prospecting is proactive and it's direct. It keeps you in an active versus reactive state, and it's the act of searching for your leads. Prospecting allows you to focus on proactive customer creation activities that'll be critical to your ability to hit your numbers when the market shifts and you're in a period when marketing efforts don't generate enough leads. So I'm going to ask you, why do you think it's better to be prospecting based and marketing enhanced?
Prospecting is proactive.
Absolutely.
It's the only way you're going to get deals. And the marketing enhances that, pushes it forward, I guess.
Marketing is, it's one of those things where people, feel like, okay, I'm just going to send out some postcards. I'm just going to do this, social media stuff or whatever. And it's great. You need to do that. But you really have to come face to face with people that you want to bring into your database and hopefully convert or get referrals from. We kind of talked about that in our morning meeting this morning a little bit when we talked about the importance of or the difference between what's happening with companies like Redfin and such, where they're not so face to face, and this business is a relationship business. At least it is right now. All right, we'll go to the next slide. And if you have your participant guide, you want to turn to page 4 in your participant guide. And there are a variety of prospecting methods to share your message through. So, for those of you who have been doing this for a long time, or not even a long time, but have been doing it at all, if you've tried any of these methods, why don't you share your experience with us?
This is what I'm doing so far. I've been, as Mari mentioned, and thank you, Mari, I find people that are interested in donating clothes to the homeless, and I put their contact information in my command database. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to gather all the names together, and I'm going to send them all marketing postcards about activity, sales activity in their area. And that's what I'm doing. And we'll just see what I don't have exact results yet, but that's what I'm striving for.
Thank you for sharing that, Clint. And so, as you can see, Clint, one of his prospecting methods is community outreach. He's went out into the community. He's talking to people. He's collecting clothes for homeless. He's doing something that's good and makes a difference. And it's also putting him in front of people. He's getting an opportunity to meet people and for people to be able to know who he is and trust him and see, the value that he brings to community. So thank you for doing that, Clint, and thank you for sharing. Anybody else?
You're welcome.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I'll go. Prior to COVID, it'd be like networking events, but right now it's more the circle prospecting. just around my area.
Mm-hmm. And why don't you talk a little bit about circle prospecting, Eric, and what that looks like for you?
Well, I sold a condo in Santa Monica last year, and you talked about it. So I just kind of targeted the Everett condo buildings around the area in like a 2-block radius.
Mm-hmm.
What do you
And
mean by targeted? Can you be more specific? What does that mean?
it's like, so there's like 8 different condo buildings on the same street. So I just sent little like mailers, but it's like, hey, this just sold this in this area. You know, but it wasn't cost efficient at all, but it was good to get the experience of it.
Right. So you were finding another way to introduce people to who you are.
Yeah.
And letting them know that you know, this is the value that I brought to this neighborhood. I sold this condo, and you know, I can possibly sell yours too.
And how did you reach out to them?
I talked to a title. Vin Van is great. If you don't know Vin's great. I got addresses and emails and phone numbers. So I did a little bit of the addresses, and then I did some emails. And emails and phone numbers cost, but other than that.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for sharing that, Eric. Appreciate it.
You got it.
So we'll go to the next slide. The next topic on the agenda is dive deep prospecting methods. So after this section, you will be able to explain the different prospecting methods, hopefully, if I do my job right.
Mhm.
All right, we'll go to the next one. Be prospecting based and marketing enhanced. So you're going to be taking a deep dive into the different prospecting activities that are listed on the screen. Door knocking, agent to agent referrals, open houses, which we really aren't doing right now in the traditional sense, but there are some ways that we can work around that, and social media. So for those of you who have been doing this, you can raise your hand and let us know who's done any of these. I have. I've done them all. You know, the more that you can employ these different ways of getting your name and being out there, the better off you are in this. So let's go to the next slide. Thank you. Be prospecting based and marketing enhanced. Go to page 5, you guys, if you have it in your participant guide. And let's talk about door knocking. Even though, you know, a lot of us aren't door knocking now because of coronavirus, you know, you can. There's nothing that prevents you to, but a lot of us aren't doing that. But when you do decide that that's something that you want to do, this is, you know, kind of a good way or a good little lesson on how to approach that. So it can help jumpstart your business. You can promote your business by talking to potential clients, and it provides you the chance to promote open houses. It's face-to-face contact. It provides you the opportunity to ask for business, to offer advice, or to be an available resource. It helps you build a farm, area that you want to farm and keep going back to and get business from. People remember who you are when you door knock. We door knocked, Lorna and I door knocked, and 5 years later, they contacted us and asked us to sell their house, and then asked us to sell their brother's house, and then referred us some other clients. So people remember who you are when you do it, and you do it right. You know, you keep going back. It gives you the ability to enhance your prospecting with marketing materials, which they're not required, but you can take marketing materials with you. And it allows you to leverage your monthly neighborhood nurture information when it's appropriate. So if you've gone door knocking, why don't you share what your experience has been with the group?
I'm so new that I haven't.
That's fine. Do you have, how about this? Does anybody have any limiting beliefs about door knocking?
Oh, I'm down to do it. Yeah.
Good, good. A
I
lot of
think a
people,
lot of
Mhm.
people are afraid of getting rejected in person if they do it.
yeah,
No one likes to get doors slammed in their face.
yeah.
It seems to me when I used to live over in the Beechwood area, when people would knock on the door, I just think it's the approach that you take because, you know, you have people knocking on the door. Some people don't want you just randomly knocking. So I guess I'm asking, I guess it's just the approach that you take. And I mean, I have no problem doing it, but it's just the approach of standing further away from the door because everybody was like, you know, that's how people were approaching the door, which I thought was great because they didn't want to scare you or, but what are your feelings on that, Tracy, when you were door knocking? What was your approach on how you?
Yeah, so you know, when I was door knocking, listen, no matter how long you're in this business, rejection is not fun, you know, and it's hard to get over. I always reminded myself, you know, which is kind of like the sales mantra, for every no that you get brings you closer to that yes. So that's what kept me going. But yeah, I mean, for me, it was about offering something of value. So, you know, I wasn't, you know, having some big splashy, you know, marketing material necessarily. I would go to, you know, one of those Office Depot or Staples stores, buy a little bit, you know, heavier paper than you would use to copy things in, print out, you know, some neighborhood statistics and something about myself on the back. You could do that at the office and then offer that information to them. So I think that while you don't always have to have marketing materials when you're knocking on someone's door, you want to have something of value to leave them, something for them to remember you by. And I wouldn't suggest that just being a business card. I would leave something that they could leave. And personally, I like providing 8.5 by 11. This is my own preference, 8.5 by 11 um, flyer type, you know, documents. All the same information that will go on a postcard, but it's in an 8.5 by 11. That's my preference because I know people get a lot of stuff. And it's, you know, I don't want to say it's less easy to toss that because anybody can toss anything, but I think it just maybe stands out a little bit more. So door knocking is not my favorite thing.
Mhm.
You know, I don't love it. um Fortunately, I have a business of a big huge sphere of influence, and there it's, you know, primarily how we get our business. 100% of our business last year was from our sphere. So I don't, that doesn't mean I shouldn't door knock, because I do have a farm and I want to get to know those people in my farm. But I'm also my homeowners association board member. I'm also my historic preservation overlay zone board member. I also am on committees in my neighborhood so that people can see me and associate me with, you know, some of the other real estate activities I do and connect the dots. So, you know, that door knocking is good, and especially if you're starting out, and especially if you want to establish yourself in a farm, I say that that's a really good way to go. And you know, during COVID, things are different, but you can always put on a mask, put on a little lanyard that has your picture on it, so they can see what your face looks like, and you leave them some material that has your headshot, you know, and they know who you are. The model for door knocking
Yeah,
on the
I'm so sorry to interrupt you. I had to answer the door when you were explaining what you put on the flyer.
Yeah. Um, I didn't so much say what I put on the flyer as much as saying that, you know, I would put whatever I would put on a postcard, I like to put on a flyer because it's bigger, it's easier to read, it's not as easy to toss. And on that flyer, I would also make sure that you put your picture, you know, and who you are and your contact information on there so that people have it.
What would that be generally, like market statistics for the area or?
You could put market statistics on there. I've put, this is how we're doing business during COVID. If you're concerned about being safe or how to sell your house, during these times. This is our protocol, and we can discuss that with you further. You can put anything on a flyer that is going to be of value to somebody reading it. You know, somebody who's thinking about selling their home or considering it. Yeah, I even
Thank
put
you.
I put the COVID safe information on one side, and on the other side, there was like some food drive information. So anything that, if you're farming, anything that's community related is always helpful. So if you're keeping people in touch with what's happening in their community, provide that. And then on the flip side, put some, or lower, if you don't want to pay to print two sides, lower on that document, then put, you know, some information about yourself and what you have to offer them. So the model for door knocking is on this slide, and the first thing is approach. So know your script, ready your mindset and your materials, knock, and then step back to create space, which is kind of something that Patty alluded to before. So we'll probably get into this a little bit later, but you want to know what you're going to say when you knock on the door. So practice that before. Actively listen. Come from contribution, offer value, your app, a flyer, whatever it is. And then ask questions. What are your needs? How can I help you? When you get to the ask part of the door knocking, ask for the business, ask for referrals, ask for permission to stay in touch. And then advance is adding them to your database, add your contacts to your touch campaigns with your smart plans and your monthly neighborhood nurtures. Take notes on who you've talked to and what you talked about. It's important, and it shows that you're paying attention, so that the next month when you go door knocking, you can pick up that conversation where you left off. Any questions? We can go to the next slide, which is page 6 in your participant guide. Agent to agent referrals. Is that, yeah, there we go. Sorry. Referrals will come from agents you know and agents you meet. And your goal should be to make sure that you're on top of mind with agents, so they think of you first when they need to refer. You're competing with other agents for their attention, and you should be constantly thinking of creative ways to stand out, to be different, and to be remembered. The agent to agent referrals model is grow, manage, and maintain. So how do you grow your referral network? Anybody have any idea?
Tracy, can I ask a clarifying question?
Sure.
Agent to agent
You
referrals.
meet new people.
Oh,
Go ahead, Roseanne.
I don't understand that concept. Again, this is like my second day, but like, why would an agent refer to another agent when everybody's trying to create and put together their like prospecting?
Right. So the first thing that comes to my mind, and there are a lot of examples of it, but the first thing that comes to my mind for me personally, this is how I'm not going to take a listing in Simi Valley. I just can't do it. It's too far. I've got too much going on. It doesn't make sense for me to do that. So, but I don't want to throw that lead away. I don't want to throw that business away. Oh, but I met so-and-so and they live in Simi Valley. They do business in Simi Valley. Let me call them and say, hey, I have a potential client for you. Bless you, Lance. I have a potential client for you. Would you be interested in servicing them and offer a referral fee? Because that's what we do. We offer referral fees, and generally a referral fee is around 25%. So you'd get 25% of the business for the referral.
Oh, that's perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, and also out of state too. Lots of people are moving all around, and so making friends with people who are out of state is important. And so go to family reunion. I don't get anything for saying this, but go to family reunion, because people will be in those rooms that you're in, even though it's virtually. they'll be in those rooms that you're in. People are going to be typing in questions and all that kind of stuff. And you'll get to kind of get a vibe on people. And maybe you'll want to contact someone later and say, hey, I see that you were in this session with me. Where do you do your business? And you can get referral business or have referral agents that way.
My sister-in-law's an agent in Michigan. This is before I was an agent. And somebody I'd met on a show, her mom lives in Manistee, Michigan, where my sister-in-law lives. And she said, my mom has to sell her land. So I connected her with my sister-in-law.
Yeah.
And, I wasn't an agent at the time. That would have been a referral fee.
Yeah, absolutely.
Example.
Absolutely. So we'll go to the next slide. Prospecting command referrals. Uh-oh. We're ready for the next slide. There you go. Thank you. So I don't have my command up to be able to demonstrate this. And honestly, you probably wouldn't want me to demonstrate this, how this works. But there is a way for you to access referrals in command, add an agent to your network in command, send them a referral using command. It's just another way to capture an agent's information for your referral network. You can also scan QR codes. And that allows you to be able to because you do have a QR code. So that allows you to be able to share and refer agents. So that's something that you all should be taking a look at. It was really funny because a couple years in when we went to New Orleans for a family reunion, it was, I think, dare I say it was the first time that we had these QR codes? I think it was. Everybody was walking around. Let me scan you. Let me scan you. Let me scan you. And somebody had like a big, they had made like I'll say a costume, but it was just like a piece on their head with their QR code there. So people could just walk up and scan it. It's cute. I wouldn't scan everybody's QR code because you don't know how people do business. So if you're talking about doing referral business, you want to make sure whoever you're adding to your network is somebody who you believe can get the job done for you, because this is somebody that you're referring from your network. So I wouldn't just randomly, I think we were all just really super excited to be able to do it. And we're just clicking on everybody's QR codes. But after I got back, I was like, yeah, nah, I don't know you. So, be mindful of that, but definitely it's a fun feature to have. And so we'll go to the next slide, which talks about open houses, which is something else that we're not doing in the traditional way because of COVID, but we are able to, conduct open houses in a way that doesn't violate what the guidelines that are set for us by California Association of Realtors. So you're really supposed to work in small groups right now, but it's kind of, we're short on time. So I'll just ask this and put this out generally and talk about it a little bit. Open houses have a great potential for attracting leads traditionally. So, before COVID, when you can just set up an open house and it's come one, come all, that's a way that you can attract leads. Open houses will put you in the path of an opportunity to meet people, to add those people to your database, and to set appointments. They're inexpensive, have a great return on investment, and agents can start to build a reputation around their name in specific neighborhoods. So it's important to, be able to conduct yourself in a way when you have an open house where you're able to get leads and able to take those leads, convert them, put them into your database for future business with that particular person or with a referral. You want to, well, we'll talk about that a little bit later. Let's go to the next slide. Sorry about that. Let's go to the next slide. And you want to make sure that you're adding people to your database. This is something that sometimes may seem tedious, but it's ridiculously important, because your database is going to be your lifeline to your business. So as you prospect, it's important to add contacts to your database and to take action on those contacts immediately by putting them in a smart plan in command. And you probably don't know about smart plans and all this stuff yet, Roseanne, but you will. And it's a way to, once you add people into your database, you can set them up in a particular plan. Maybe, you know, they're new home buyer and you have a new home buyer plan that, you know, sends them, reminds you to send them an email after a certain time period, give them a phone call, send them information on a neighborhood that they're interested in. So smart plans are a great way to consistently stay in touch with the people in your database. Pairing a monthly neighborhood nurture with a quarterly call smart plan takes your touch plan even further, because the quarterly call allows you to follow up with your contact on their neighborhoods of interest and their interest in the information you've sent via email. So you want to make sure, put these people in there, put them in a smart plan, put them in a a monthly neighborhood nurture, and then set it up for a quarterly phone call. Make sure that you're following up with people on a quarterly basis. Our next slide talks about open houses some more. And it's important to stand out in an open house. I mean, easy question, but I'll ask. Why do you think it's important to stand out in an open house?
Well, probably people have gone to other open houses at other properties, so you want to be memorable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Knowledge of the area.
Yeah, absolutely. So these are some different ways that you can stand out at an open house. And let's talk about them. Hosting a speaker. I mean, whoever thought of that? But a guest speaker, such as a general contractor or a home stager, may draw more of a crowd. Your potential buyers may also be looking to sell their own homes, so a stager can offer tips to spruce up a home for sale. So, you know, what a great idea. Host a speaker at your open house. Offer a gift or incentive game, you know, hold a raffle, raffle off a gift certificate. Plus, with the raffle, buyers will have to share their contact information with you, which you can then use to follow up. And if there's ever a price change on the house, you want to be sure to notify them. So you'll get their information and can be able to follow up with them. And then they offer an idea about a house scavenger hunt, which I think is kind of cool. You give visitors a card with clues and questions to answer as they tour the home. And some example questions are: how many fireplaces does the home have? Which room had an inviting window seat overlooking the backyard terrace? Which rooms featured custom built-in shelving? You know, not only do you give prospects a reason to pay closer attention as they do a walkthrough, but you also teach them about the home's features, which they may find appealing. And get the house in showing shape. You want the house looking its best outside and in. So part of an open house is to instruct your sellers to trim their shrubs, unclutter their rooms, shampoo their rugs, add a fresh coat of paint, check the home smell. You know, and it's an old kind of old school thing, but you can always throw some cookies in, you know, the oven. That gives it a really cool smell, and provides them with a treat. And then make sure that everything is absolutely clean. And then another option is to go live. Engage your social media followers by going live at your open house. So you can create an event on Facebook. Then during the time of the event, tease your audience with a sneak peek of the home. So all those are really cool ideas. What other ideas do you guys have about standing out at an open house?
I learned to always have music going on.
Yeah.
And then based on smell, candles are always a good bet.
Yeah, candles are a good bet. We had a Caribbean themed open house. And and we had, oh my gosh, why am I, the steel drums. We had
Oh,
someone come in and play the steel drums. You know the
Yeah.
guy on
Yeah.
Larchmont who plays the steel drums? His name is Prince. He's out there. We hired him. He came in, he played the steel drums. We served Caribbean fare. We just kind of like created this. We actually had to tell the people, the homeowners are coming back. You guys have to leave. But it was great because everybody talked about it. They had a good time. They sat around. We had some, food for them to eat, music to listen to, and they really got to take in the house. And the thing is that when someone has an experience like that, they go tell other people.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was at this cool open house Bates Hennington group had, and they have food. They had this steel drummer. People talk, and that's what you want. You want your name out there.
Tracy, this wasn't the guy. There is still someone that plays drums, but there was someone that played drums on Larchmont that died. It wasn't him, was it, that you had? Or?
No, Prince is still there. Actually,
Okay.
when I was on Larchmont last week, I saw him. He was playing in front of the bank across.
Okay, yeah, because I know that, because I didn't know which one of them you were talking about, but I know that someone was still there, but the guy before him.
Yeah, no, it's him. So he was
Okay.
great. So anything that you can do to be different and stand out, go for it. So the next slide talks about social media. And social media prospecting has become an important lead generation strategy in many real estate businesses, and for good reason. When it's used correctly, social media allows you to instantaneously connect with potential clients and begin to build relationships that will result in more business. Social media allows the user to create content and to share content with an audience. And that audience is made up of people that you know, or sometimes it's shared with people that you may not personally know. And so, the different channels in social media that are supported by command right now are Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. But of course, there are many more out there that you can use. I use my LinkedIn account as well and post things on there. So if you go to page 11 in your prospect guide, you'll see the social media and prospecting model. So what you want to do is select the social media strategy. Selecting a social media strategy, you want to consider the social media platforms that you want to post on. I have that next to me so that I remember if I'm doing a social media post to remember to post on all these. And of course, there are other apps that allow you to post to your preferred ones all at once. Create a schedule for your posts. Make sure your branding is on your post, whatever that means. If it's a tagline, if it's your logo, whatever it is, your branding. Create a social media presence for your business. Having a business page is a suggestion. Create a posting schedule so that you know when you're going to post and you're consistent with it. And create drafts of the posts that you want to schedule so that you'll have them ahead of time so that when it's time to push them out, they're ready to go.
Can I ask you a question, Tracy?
Of course.
So, because I have a LinkedIn presence already with my other business. And of course, my Facebook is my Facebook. For the LinkedIn, do you advise doing a separate LinkedIn for real estate, or can you just bounce off that and just turn it? How do you combine those two or leave one app separate from?
I have my personal, I have my personal LinkedIn account and I post my business stuff there. I don't have a separate business Bates Hennington LinkedIn account.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I mean, mine just says product placement on it, and that's where all my resume for product placement and shows I've done. And then I thought, do I just make that the real estate page also, or do I do a separate for real estate? Because I would have to start over getting all the people from my LinkedIn again onto my real estate page.
No,
so
you just start adding your real estate content in there and make sure that people know in your, that job history description that you're presently working as a realtor.
Okay, because I'm doing both at the same time. That's why I was wondering. Okay.
Yeah. Question. Is the same true for Facebook and Instagram? Should you have a business one, or is it appropriate to use your personal one for the branding and the posting and that stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure there are a few different schools of thought on it. Personally, I have a business page, and I have my own personal page. And more often than not, I'll post from my business page to my personal page. There's sometimes where I will just post something on my business page that doesn't go to my personal page, but I use both.
Okay.
Yeah, I use both.
80/20 is really good on your personal page.
So 80% personal, 20% business.
Right.
Okay.
And then if you do your business page, just reverse it, 20% personal, 80% business.
Thanks for sharing that, Eric. And
Yeah.
I will say too that it is important to make sure that when you're posting on your personal page, you're not inundating people with just real estate stuff. So people are coming to your pages because of who you are, or on your page because of who you are. And people want to do business with people that they know and that they're comfortable with. And social media gives them a feeling that they know who you are. I've had people say, "Oh, I like your style," or "You seem like no nonsense," or "Oh, you guys are so much fun and so funny." And so, those are things that you know you're creating a brand when you're posting on social media. So make sure that when you're, like Eric said, if you're posting on your personal page, don't use it all up posting real estate stuff. That's a drag. No one wants to see that. But they do want to see some posts about your cat or your dog or what you did this weekend or whatever, so that they can get to know who you are. All right. And then with social media, you're going to seek prospects. Who are you going to target? A location, audience, interest. You can, hone in when you're on social media and you're creating campaigns on social media. You can decide that you want to target a specific group or people or audience. So you have that ability to do that. The share part of social media talks about posting content, sharing posts, monitor your post performance. And you can do that in command. So you can see the types of things that are getting the most attention and what's, interesting to people. And post scheduling, which command allows posts to be created and shared ahead of time. And then the service part of this is communicating with people who interact with your posts. So you want to make sure, and I really try to do it too. Sometimes I'll get like so many comments, it's hard to keep up if it's a really popular topic, but you want to make sure that if somebody leaves a comment, you respond with a comment, not just with a thumbs up or an emoji, but you want to communicate with them.
Tracy,
Yes.
yeah. Do you have a problem with your business page on Facebook by any chance? Is that
No,
where your business page is?
it's on Facebook.
Okay, because there's all kinds of issues I've had with them. They keep rejecting what I post and all this kind of stuff, and there's just no way I can't talk to a live person about it. But if you don't have a problem, I just wondered what it is because
Yeah, I don't. And maybe that's something that, Ed can help with. I don't, but I post,
okay.
I've never had a problem. Um,
Going
you
through
can,
command, or you going straight through Facebook?
you're on mute, Clint.
I tried going directly to Facebook and got this resistance, and I went to command and I still got it. So I don't know what the solution is except not to try to use them as a business page.
What you can do is just try changing the wording through command, and that will help because command is supposed to alleviate all the issues of getting rejected through Facebook.
Okay, I'll try it again.
And then Blake Pexka and Tristan Alimata have a great social media post on Facebook on the Labco agents.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for sharing, Eric. So what you also want to do is add new contacts to smart plans to follow up. So if you get a new contact on your social media page, add them in to your smart plan. Respond to inquiries in a timely manner. Acknowledge reactions. send private follow-up messages, engage with active connections. If someone likes, like back, I ask for business, who do you know? And nurture and convert, follow up with people. The next slide, we're talking about 20% business, 80% personal when it comes to social media. And now that you understand the model to use with your social media prospecting, you can consider what you want to include in your posts. And later in this session, you'll start to dig into social media through a mastermind. And the section will just start the thinking process of what type of posts you want to create on social media. It'll be hard to find success unless you're willing to engage with your audiences by asking questions and addressing lifestyle as opposed to just business. Earlier in the session, we discussed the personal perspective of the 80-20 principle, and that can be applied to your social media tactics too, like Eric talked about. Applying the 80-20 rule will avoid lead generation burnout and will keep you connected with your followers. This means your post should be 80% personal and 20% business. Think of social media as a social conversation. You can get more strategic with your posts by using past performance as a guide. Glean insights from how your posts perform in terms of reach and reaction from your unique audience. You can view campaign performance metrics in Command as well. So be sure that you are taking a look at that too. And you might find that your audience doesn't like seeing anything from your personal life, which I doubt, but they love the informational articles you share. Or maybe they only want to see listings and don't want to engage with any of your event postings. Whatever information that you see in these insights, just pay attention to it and use it going forward. Next topic on the agenda is to take an action and develop your plan. So after this, you'll be able to develop your own prospecting plan. And the next slide, prospecting to your strengths. Now that you understand how to use a variety of prospecting methods, it's time to revisit how to get purposeful about the lead generation activities that you choose to do. The average millionaire real estate agent gets most of their business from their top 2 lead sources and 90% of their total business from their top 5 lead sources. Based on a recent survey with KW's research team, the top lead generation sources for the millionaire real estate agents were referrals, sphere of influence, non-referral sphere of influence, repeat business.
What was the second one? Sorry.
Sphere of influence. So the people that you know.
Gotcha.
That you're, yeah. Repeat business, purchased leads, and then yard signs. And then continuing with pay-per-click, open houses, telemarketing, and farming. And Roseanne, and I'll just say this because you just started with us today. If you haven't read The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, it will be your Bible. And, and I suggest that you read that. I've probably read it 5 times.
Oh.
You can't stop reading it. You should not stop reading it. You go back over it again and again. So
thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's Millionaire Real Estate Agent. You can get it on Amazon. So anyway, those are the top lead generation sources. This doesn't mean that these sources, that these are the sources that you need to implement, nor are they the lead generation sources that will be guaranteed to work for you. The goal is to make your lead generation methods based on ones that work for your business and play to your personal strengths. What's important is prospecting to your own personal strengths. KW research has discovered that almost any form of prospecting or marketing can be effective, just not everywhere or for everyone. Prospecting can make your goals become a reality if you prospect to your strengths. So don't get drawn into prospecting or marketing methods that produce 1 or 2 transactions every now and then. Each time you take on a new lead generation method or marketing tactic that produces fewer transactions than your 20%, you're stealing time and money that could have been spent better somewhere else. Okay. So you want to go to page 12 in your participant guide. Normally we'd sit and talk about answering some questions, but we are running short on time. So we're going to go to this next slide, right? Taking action and developing your plan. And that's actually on page 13 in your guide. It's easier to master and scale 1 or 2 lead generation methods in your business than try and do a whole bunch. So this is your opportunity to identify what is working for your database, focus on your lead generation path, and master your top resources. So you're going to make a list. It probably won't be able to do that now, but what you want to do is make a list to help you see where your leads are coming from if you've been in business, and how to narrow in and focus your efforts. So let's just look on the slide so that you'll know how to do this. The first list is just an overall list of how the example agent gets their leads. And this is in no particular order. So this is, Agent Bob, and this is how Agent Bob gets his leads. The next list you have is ordered the same lead sources as the most productive to the least. So it's prioritized. And then finally, following the model that we've been discussing, they've identified their top 5 sources. So this is where this agent is going to focus their efforts on social media and on door knocking. So what you're going to want to do, and we don't have time to do it today, but you want to list your current lead generation sources and the number of leads that you received from each source. And Roseanne, for you, you just want to start thinking about where you're going to try and get leads from. What are some sources of leads, and what are some activities that you can do to get leads? Then for those who have been doing this, prioritize your sources. Which sources provide the most leads? What are your strengths, and where were you most successful? And then finally, you want to focus on the sources that have proven to be successful. What are the lead generation sources that led to 90% of your business? And what sources will you focus on based on your strengths? And even though we can't go through this exercise in its entirety, I'd like to hear and to share from those of you who have been in business for a minute, which lead generation activities are driving your success?
Well, it used to be networking.
Mhm.
Now it's I'm trying to do, since I'm more of a high I person, it's been a little difficult, but I'm trying to do more calls to my sphere and social media,
Got it.
and then sneak in a couple open houses for people who want to have them.
Okay.
My
Anybody?
last 3 sales have been from social groups.
From where, Clint?
Social groups.
Great. That's important. That's really important to have a social group that you are in, where those people trust you and they know you. And so for you, Roseanne, if you're involved in any groups, those are lead sources for you. Maury, what about you, Mr. Rookie of the Year?
Calls at, my sphere, and in fact, I got a referral from my sphere. So for me, it's mostly calls.
That's great.
Calling the sphere of influence.
That's great. For me, it's my sphere of influence. We spent a lot of time doing a lot of other activities. And when we sat down and did our numbers a couple of years ago, we're like, what are we doing? We've been in business for a long time. We have, repeat clients. We have clients that have referred us business. We have friends who have referred us business, even though they've never done business with us. It's just because they know us. We need to focus on these people and stop trying to get all this peripheral business, because we've got a gold mine here. Gotcha. So it's important to figure that out. so that you're not spending time and money on ineffective resources. The next activity talks about developing a prospecting plan. And while we don't have time to do that, I would say that, go ahead and do the activity that we talked about prior, which is listing, listing your lead generation resources, prioritizing them, and then, being able to see where you need to focus your efforts. And I think we're probably going to need to wrap this up. So let's just have a little chitty chat for a couple minutes and talk about any ahas or any questions that anybody has. And you know what? We can be done with the slides, and we'll just open it up and everybody can see each other and be on full gallery without the slides.
Thank you so much, Tracy. It solidifies everything for me.
Oh, I'm so glad that it did, Clint. It's reminded me of some things too.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the day when we'll be able to have brokers opens again and traditional open houses again. There may not be as many. I don't have a crystal ball. I can't predict, but I sure would like the brokers opens to come back.
Absolutely. I think brokers opens definitely need to come back. I'm not a fan personally of public open houses, so those can stay the way that they are as far as I'm concerned. But if they open back up, I'm rolling with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody else have any ahas or things that you want to talk about before we end it?
Tracy, say that you actually can go door knocking now? I thought that we're not really supposed to do that.
I never read anything that said don't go door knocking. I never read anything. I personally didn't go door knocking, and I didn't encourage anyone that I was working with or asked me mentoring type questions to go door knocking, just because gosh, LA County, we've just got such an issue with this, and people may be very hesitant to open their doors. I think that there's a way that you could do it. And you wear your mask, you're making sure you're stepping back and all of that. I don't know how well that would be received, but and it's always, you can always walk the neighborhood. People are out a lot more than they have been since people are working from home and everything. So
Walking your dog.
yeah, so we've walked with our materials and what we call door drops. So even though we're not knocking on your doors, we may be dropping something on your door. Now that's not as effective, but I can still maybe circle back around, or try, if I'm working with a company that can provide me with phone numbers, and try and get into contact with these people some kind of way. But that's what we've been doing when we've done it.
Can I ask like sort of a situational question?
Sure.
Would it be appropriate? So a really good friend of mine has a friend who I know peripherally, who listed a duplex in like West LA before I got my license. And it hasn't gotten hardly any interest at all. So since, I just got licensed 2 days ago, I talked to my good friend. I said, look, would so-and-so maybe be interested? Like, is that appropriate? Or how can, if he's not had any hits or been successful at all with who he's with, is it appropriate to,
it's a violation for you to approach that person. You can't approach a client that's already has a relationship with another agent and has listed with that other agent. Now, if that person approaches you, that's another story. But you can't.
If my friend says something like, hey, if you're not happy, and I'm sure the listing agreement has an expiration date coming up sometime, could my friend say something to him?
Oh, sure. It's not you. Your friend can say anything. You have no control over what your friends say. So yeah, absolutely. But you want to keep your distance from that. Yeah, that's a violation, and you can get in trouble for that. So
okay. All right.
Yeah. But yeah, that's definitely, if your friend is out there cheering for you, yeah, that's great.
All right. Thanks.
Yeah. Anybody else? Well, thank you guys for bearing with me. You actually gave me a little bit of energy. I feel better than I did when I started. I guess I get energy from people that, I'm in conversation with, in a room with, and who I like and enjoy. So I'm glad to see familiar faces. Oh, I see Lena. I didn't know she was here. Hi, Lena. I see familiar faces, which makes me happy, and love seeing new faces too. So welcome, Roseanne.
Thank you.
Thank you to all my friends who showed up for this today. I hope that we all got something out of it or were reminded of something. And let's go prospect for leads.
Okay.
Thanks, Tracy.
All
Is
right.
Thank you, Tracy. Thank you.
there class tomorrow?
Thanks, Tracy.
Yes, there's a class tomorrow, I think.
Okay. All right.
Awesome. Okay, bye, guys.
Nice to see everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Nice to meet you.